All right, man. People know. You must know that I did not get on. I don't think I got on yesterday, which is really rare. Um, and even today, I didn't get up until 5 a.m. But there was so much to do. Uh, I hung up a few clothes of the laundry, yeah, and then we had chicken legs that had been sitting up there in the freezer for 7 days, and so it was time. It was time to cook that stuff. And I got that crock pot going, and I got man. We had some really. I mean, there was a huge squash. Yellow squash was in season, man. So I put that stuff in the Ninja. Yeah, and um, some fixings for stew, Filipino style, which I'm still learning about that. And this is the thing. Um, we got it's like it's a Mamacita brand of Filipino flavors. It's these little packets, where you don't really know anything about Filipino cuisine. You just get the packet and it's all mixed together already for you. But the thing about it is this crock pot um, is too big for one of those packets, right? So the next time, whenever I get those packets, it's like I got to figure out, because it seems like it needs 3 or 4. It's like for one of these servings or something. But I don't know if I'm gonna keep getting those Filipino powders. I've heard mixed reviews about the health beneficialities behind it. I mean, the first thing that pops in my mind is that this is a big pack of salt, is what it is. Sodium, man, that's what it is. That's what I worry about. But my wife has been on a kick here recently. These powders, the powders, we can't have any of these powders anymore. And I'm like, so that rules out, the mac and cheese. But, it's like those mac and cheese that you get at the bread line or whatever like that, it's just going to get you fat anyway. And it's inflammatory, the kind of noodles. That's why they're giving it away. It can't be sold. Oh, man. I was thinking, this, well, okay. I don't want ADHD off the edge of the map here. Let's see. My Discord thing is messed up, and let me bring it up and see, can I rectificationalize it? Ooh, there, perfection. So this is my new layout, and well, okay. I'm rambling off into the nether worlds of the intergalactic zones of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. But I was sick. Yesterday, I know that I didn't get on, and I'm glad that I got on some, because it made me make a recording of some bad play. It's like, I got on and I was like, okay, let me get out here. Oh, they killed me. Oh, they kept me dead. Oh, they kept me dead. It does make a difference if you're not feeling well. Your reaction time is down. All right, now I don't want to jump on this thing. I want to play the whole time that I'm going to play on this until my compact point is 0 before I go up in here, I think. Because I'm trying to get to where, going back and looking at my stream. Oh, I got to correct the dang audio. The audio's going out into the room. Lord help. There we go. That's beautiful. Okay. Oh, it's so beautiful. I need me someday. It's so unfair. You know, I really feel like, I don't know, it does not seem random, you know, because I look where I have thousands of blueprints on weapons that I don't use. Thousands. Because, see, the only way really I can keep track of the distribution, and this is something that y'all that watch me go, look at this fool. What the hell he doing, man? Fool. Right? Well, actually, I was suspicious that they put this stuff out here, these blueprints out here, because in the long term you're going to be in a situation of regret when you are capable of upgrading. So even some of these lower weapons, look. So say you're doing a squad drop. You know, what if all your weapons are the best that they can be, right? Doesn't that give you more options as a squad drop? But also, the thing about it is how can you study to find a pattern, right? Because if I don't buy these every time, I have no record. You know, I could have wrote it down or something like that, but it's like, let me go ahead and buy it. And I've been doing it for a long time, and it don't bother me. But because I'm kind of, I work on one thing at a time, I noticed that I'm getting thousands of blueprints for a Lancer or something like that, which is not in my squad. And going for months and not getting blueprints that I sorely need for my MD. Is it a pattern, right? It should be random, shouldn't it? Yeah. But we're going to look at it. We'll look at it in the long run. Let's see how things come out. What is this? Join a clan from the list or create your own clan. Clan requests. Ragnor has invited me. Okay, Ragnor. I will join your clan. But still, still don't feel very well. All right, so let me take a look here. 8 minutes to get into the first combat. 8. 2 deathmatch tickets. Now, let me get my dang Nuremberg trials up. All right, so this is where they're talking about getting Alfred Krupp, the son of the dementia Krupp. These are the guys that made all the weapons for the Nazis. We do not think the addition of Alfred Krupp need delay this trial by the usual allowance of time to the defendant. The work already done on behalf of Krupp von Bohlen will no doubt be available to Alfred. The organization Krupp is the source of the documents and of most of the evidence on which the defense will depend. If this request of the United States of America, the Soviet Union, and the French Republic is granted, and Alfred Krupp is joined, we would then have no objection to the dismissal, which is the real substance of the motion of the elder Krupp, whose condition doubtless precludes his being brought to trial in person. Yeah, he's the kind of person that's like, he's already, you know, they're saying he doesn't even know, he's like a vegetable. Why not bring him out in front of everybody and execute him? Right? And I know that sounds terrible, but, oh, wait a second. I can't even start a battle in this game. But having lived in China for 7 years, this is the thing. When somebody has done something very, very terrible that just harms so many millions of people, it's like there's this public sentiment. You're the ruler, you know, you guys are in charge. You lost the mandate of heaven. You must die. And like people will file out to a stadium just to get a kind of catharsis to see that this individual was put to death for what he has done, which is amass wealth. You know, he sought to become very rich off of blood, death, mayhem, and killing and stuff. The President. Mr. Justice Jackson, may I draw your attention to page 5 of the written statement of the United States? At the bottom of page 5, you say, the prosecutors representing the Soviet Union, the French Republic, and the United Kingdom unanimously oppose the inclusion of Alfred Krupp. And then you go on to say, in the fourth line of page 6, immediately upon service of the indictment, learning the serious condition of Krupp, the United States again called a meeting of prosecutors and proposed an amendment to include Alfred Krupp. Again, the proposal of the United States was defeated by a vote of 3-1. Are you now telling the tribunal that there's been another meeting at which the prosecutors have reversed their 2 previous decisions? Wow, that's interesting. So I'm wondering, really, right? Did they move to exclude him? Macarena, it's broke. It's a fresh, clean start since I turned on this stream. Mr. Justice Jackson, may I draw your attention to page 5 of the written statement of the United States? At the bottom of page 5, you say, the prosecutors representing the Soviet Union, the French Republic, and the United Kingdom unanimously opposed the inclusion of Alfred Krupp. I guess they did, right? There it is. It's written down. Why did they do that? If not, you know, it's like, oh, well, if we, you know, charge him, then we're going to, okay, I've got it. All right. This is what Chomsky says. So the way the trial goes is this, is anything that everybody involved in the conflict did is okay, but anything we can establish that only the Germans did is not okay. That'll be what the crimes are. Well, let's see if Macarena is totally non-functional. I'll try to get into it. Mr. Justice Jackson, Your Honor, I understand the French delegation has filed a statement with the Secretary of the Tribunal, which joins in the position of the United States. I have just been called on behalf of the Soviet prosecutor, General Rudenko, who is now in Moscow, to advise us that the Soviet delegation now joins, and I was this morning authorized to speak in their behalf. Both these delegations desire to reduce, as of course do we, any possible delay to a minimum. I may say that the disagreement at the outset over the inclusion of Alfred was due not to any difference of opinion as to whether this industry should be represented in this trial, but it was not understood that the condition of the elder Krupp was such that would preclude his trial. It was believed that it was. Does this ellipsis mean that he was interrupted? I wonder. Right. The President. Mr. Justice Jackson, forgive my interrupting you. Yeah, he did interrupt him. But the words that I've just read now show that the condition of Krupp was comprehended at the time. The words are, immediately upon service of the indictment, learning of the serious condition of Krupp, the United States again called a meeting of prosecutors, and again the proposal of the United States was defeated by a vote of 3-1. Interesting. All right. Mr. Justice Jackson, Your Honor is referring to the meeting which was held after the indictment had been served. I'm referring to the original framing of the indictment. So we're speaking of 2 different points of time. Aha. The President, I see. Mr. Justice Jackson, it was it was felt that it would be very difficult to manage a trial which included too many defendants, and that inasmuch as Gustav Krupp von Bohlen was in, it was unnecessary to have others. When the indictment was served, the information came to us of his condition, and we called the meeting. It was not then anticipated with certainty that the trial could not proceed. His condition was then, we knew, serious, but the extent of it was not known to us as definitely as it is now, and it was felt by the other three prosecuting nations at the time that it would not be necessary to make this substitution. In light of what has now happened, both the Soviet Union and the French Republic join in the position of the United States. The President. Then may I ask you how long delay you suggest should be given if your motion for the addition of Alfred Krupp were granted? Mr. Justice Jackson. Of course, I hesitate to say what might be reasonable from the point of view of the defendants. But it would seem to me that in the first place he might be willing to step into his father's place without delay. But in any case, that the delay should not postpone the commencement of this trial beyond the 2nd day of December, which I think is Monday, which would enable him, it seems to me, with the work that is... All right, false start. All right, let's go. See if I can get into a battle. With the work that has been done to prepare adequately. All right, here we go. And will enable us to serve immediately. If permission is granted, we can immediately make the service. And of course, they have already had full information of the charges and access to the documents. The President. Is he not entitled under the Charter and the rules of the procedure to 30 days from the service of the indictment upon him? Mr. Justice Jackson. I think the Charter makes no such requirement, and you think. I think it's about 2 p.m. Oops. Let's see. And I understand that the rules of the court are within the control of the court itself. That's nice. Would you suggest that he should be given less time than the other defendants? I have no hesitation in sponsoring that suggestion for the reason that the work that was already failed to start battle. Okay. This looks like a dang reinstall of Macarena needs to be done. So, yeah, I'm going to start doing that. Alright, so you're going to get a little bit more. If you hang out with me long enough, you can learn how, history and big court trial proceedings go. So, I'm going over to... right now, what I'm going to do is play tech support, right? So, let's say uninstall. So the guy's position is that well, you know, it's really father and son, right? So all the stuff that was done for Krupp is already they were preparing a defense for Krupp, right? So there should be no harm towards Alfred since they're, it's father and son, the same company. It still should be. He has even more time, than Krupp himself had. Because all the defense work, which applies to Krupp, generally applies to Krupp, right? Alfred or von Bohlen. All right, so this is, let me install it again. I have no hesitation in sponsoring that suggestion for the reason that the work that has already been done presumably would be available to him, As I have suggested, of all the defendants, the Krupp family is in the best position to defend from the point of view of resources. From the Wow, that's a tough sentence. All right. I have no hesitation in sponsoring that suggestion for the reason that the work that has already been done presumably would be available to him. And as I have suggested, of all the defendants, the Krupp family is in the best position to defend from the point of view of resources, from the point of view of reach of the organization. I would put an "and" in there. And I am sure you will agree, they're not at all handicapped in the ability of counsel. They got lawyers, buddy. They're billionaires. The president. I have one last question to put to you. Can it be in the interest of justice to find a man guilty who, owing to his illness, is unable to make his defense properly? What is justice? Let's see what time it is. Right. So I'm on 20 minutes and I can't get enough out. Great. Mr. Justice Jackson. Assuming the hypothesis that Your Honor states, I should have no hesitation in saying that it would not be in the interest of justice to find a man guilty who cannot properly be defended. I do not think it follows that the character of charges that we have made in this case against Krupp, Gustav Krupp von Bohlen, cannot be properly tried in absentia. That is an arguable question. But it can be assumed that all the acts which we charge him with are either documentary or they were public acts. We're not charging him with the sort of thing for which one resorts to private sources. The one serious thing that seems to me is that he would not be able to take the stand himself in his defense, and I am not altogether sure that he would want to do that even if he were present. Yeah, I just reinstalled Macarena and it won't. Let's go to the Macarena Discord and see if they're down. Hey, man. I've been sick, actually. I took a COVID test yesterday, and I don't have COVID. But, yeah, I get, well, my daughter got last Wednesday and Thursday, my daughter had food poisoning again. And we had to go to the emergency room. And, of course, my wife was despondent. I think, that probably all the strain of going through that last Thursday was a factor, like sort of may have lowered my resistance or whatever, because I'm pretty healthy. But for the last 2 days, I was really struggling just to, get up and move around and take care of the laundry, and I couldn't get on Macarena, and I'm trying to get on. And I'm still like sweating, for example, which I think sweating is probably good, but as far as I felt a little bit dehydrated, and I had very slight cough, but nothing really serious other than like profound fatigue, like man, I need to lay down, or I need to soak in a hot bathtub, or something like that. So I don't know. I think I'm okay. But I was trying to, I never get on the dang Macarena official server, and I was trying to go here and find out. Okay, I'm on the Macarena France server. Let's see, where's the dang Macarena server? Okay, there it is. Okay, I should have known to look for the icon, right? But battles won't start, or is unable to join a battle is what I've been getting all morning. Can't get in. Maybe this is the sign that I'm supposed to install Valorant today. Okay, dear all, we are aware that many of you cannot currently enter the battles. This is a known issue, and the team is actively working on it. Oh, no. Listen, Aaron, I really appreciate you dropping in and asking about me. Yeah, I'm having a tough time. But it's okay. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope we get to play together soon. And so, yeah, let me just disconnect from Macarena, since it doesn't work anymore. Alright, so this would be a good time to be doing a little bit of Valorant. So maybe I read, The Count of Monte Cristo was like on a list of books. It's a big fat book. And The Count of Monte Cristo is on a list, of it's like this is one of those books. I need to make a close reading of this Count of Monte Cristo. And after many years in China, when I came back from China, I was trying to get in touch with people, and there was a guy that I knew that I was surprised he was still alive. He was such a heavy smoker and drinker, maybe a drug user or whatever like that from high school. I was surprised he was still around, and I was talking to him and stuff, and it came around to the topic of books. It's like, the greatest book I ever read was this book, Count of Monte Cristo. Right? So I was like, well, dang it, I need to go read that. I said I'd been meaning to read it. And basically, it's a love triangle where this guy's about to get married and somebody else wants to marry his wife, so they make a political frame up and put him in, just bury him under the jail, right? And he goes through this total hell, right? And then he escapes, and a prisoner, I think, that he meets tells him how to get a treasure that they hid, that he knew about. The guy. In other words, the Count of Monte Cristo was in this dungeon, for so long, and there was a guy in there, and this guy's like, well, I'm gonna die anyway, and I kind of like this guy or whatever. I forget the exact circumstances of it, but basically he tells him where to find something. I think the guy then dies, and then the Count of Monte Cristo gets out, finds the treasure, and then he has all this. He's like Batman, right? He's got all these superpowers and stuff. He's going to go around and he's going to kill all these evildoers, get revenge on them. And it sort of deals like with the problem of revenge, and how do you, through exacting retribution, do you become what it is that you oppose, right? That you actually become the very evil that you're exacting retribution for. And I mentioned Batman already, and I was like, did this Batman idea come from Count of Monte Cristo? That's what I was thinking when I read it. But it was one of those things like after college, I was in the habit of like just read day, read it, and well, I sort of like as a ADHD reader. One of the best things to do is for me to read out loud, right? What to survive in college, what I did is when I had a reading assignment, I would read it over and over again, right? Just read it through. Just don't okay. When you have ADHD, you're all kinds of things that you read or whatever are all triggering thoughts about different things. So you might be, and this is a classic example. I'm supposed to read an article about bees and hornets and wasps, right? And I'm in the section on wasps, and I'm reading it, right? And it's talking about the wasp nest, and it has a picture of it, right? And all of a sudden, I'm thinking about this barn. With the where this wasp nest was, that my high school buddies, it was on their horse farm, and their dad had a refrigeration business, and we saw the wasps were there, and we're like, what are you gonna, how can we play in here? It's dangerous or whatever, like, and somebody said, well, freeze them with Freon, right? Which is, I guess, Freon is R22. It's a chlorofluorocarbon, right? And the fluorocarbons wander up into the upper atmosphere, and they react with ozone, I guess O3 or something like that. And then there's some kind of, every chlorofluorocarbon that gets up there destroys some tens of thousands of ozone, O3, right? And I'm trying to think of what was that number again? Like, it's one of the things, if you're going to be in refrigeration, it's one of those numbers you're supposed to know. Like, how much damage does R22 do to the ozone? How fast does it harm the ozone or something like that. Why is it a serious matter not to release the chlorofluorocarbons into the ozone? And meanwhile, I've like turned 3 pages in the article. I've been reading along in the article on the wasps, right? I do that all the time, right? I do that all the time. So the best thing to do is just, okay, I'm back on track. Continue reading through to the end. Go back to page 1 and start reading through it again. And as you read through, larger and larger things are like, yeah, I really do remember reading this. And when you finally read through it and you're like, well, I feel like I've read through this enough times that as many times as I was distracted, I've got the full content. And it's good. It's a good reading exercise to do that. Hold on a second. The Valorant.com domain is owned by some other company. Well, that really distracted me. I'm like looking for Valorant. I put Valorant.com and it's some bullshit company. I'm creating a Mystic Mask Valorant account. That's what I'm doing right now. Oh, looks like you already have an account. Sign in with your existing account to connect to Google Sign In. Okay, so they mailed me a code. Let me look at this. I'm downloading Valorant. $18, $3, and $4. These guys are pissed. Alright, so I sort of want to... Let's check out this mermaid intermission. See if it's cool. Alright, and what I should have here on this layout. This is my my mermaid. This is one of my early AI animations that I made on Moon Valley, which I'm very pleased with. Just wonderful. So I'm getting ready to shock you with a giant display ad. Alright, so this is my main screen. Now what else do I need on here? When I'm streaming, I guess what I really need is something that says give me money. Let's see. Image slideshow. Add existing. I think this